Hi guys, Rod here. It's part 2 of my video, how to make Greek or Turkish style coffee. And we've already prepared the coffee traditional way with a mortar and pestle to get a really fresh grind of the coffee, bring out all the flavors, a very small particle size to it. And so now we're on to actually preparing the Turkish coffee or the Greek coffee. And the things that we'll need to make this are, the most important thing is what's called a sezve or an ibrik, depending on which language we go by, which tradition. And it's a small, miniature pot with a handle on it. I think it's made out of tin with a brass coating, and this one's very well used. You can see I've used this for over a year, I think close to 2 years. And also need a source of flame. I like to use a camp stove. This is like a backpacking stove, and also it needs a little bit of sugar, so a regular cane sugar, the one that has good particle size, that's not too finely ground out there. And we'll also have water. We'll need water, and then a serving cup. And you could use basically a 4-ounce demi-tasse cup. This one has my water in it. You can see that there. That's my favorite one. And you can also use espresso type of cups. I prefer at least 4 ounces, about 4 to 5 ounces would be perfect. This is another 4-ounce cup, demi-tasse cup. And got our coffee that we've ground. And so basically we start off by adding the water to that we're going to use to the ibrik here. And turn on our flame. And first thing we do while we have the flame on low is add some sugar. We just add about a tablespoon of sugar there, and I'll do a little extra because I like mine a little sweet. And overall, you're only getting I think 15, 20, 30 calories with this. So it's really not, you're not getting a lot of calories as you would with like a Starbucks coffee with this. And so we want to crank the flame up once we have the sugar in there. Now that sugar is going to drop to the bottom of the ibrik here, and with the high flame that we have going, it's going to caramelize that sugar that's sitting at the bottom partially, as it caramelizes it and helps dissolve it. And so we get that going with a higher flame, and let that sit for, usually takes about maybe 1 or 2 minutes for it to build up. And what you want to look for is a white ring of foam building up inside of it, and that tells you when it's time to add the coffee. So just let that simmer away. Okay, so we're seeing we have that ring of white foam inside forming from the sugars heating up with the water, and once that gets pretty foamy in there, but just a large ring around the perimeter, I'll turn it off the flame temporarily, and we'll add the ground Turkish coffee here, so the Greek coffee. And so basically I'll use a couple of teaspoons of the coffee per serving, but that much. And so it's probably about 1 to 2 teaspoons, I would say, maybe a tablespoon of the coffee. And I like mine kind of strong. And once we get it in there, we stir it up. And I'm going to stir it, just get it mixed in there. It happens pretty quick. And you turn the flame back on to a medium flame. And now you want to keep an eye on the coffee that you're making here, very close eye, because it foams up. And basically, we'll stir that up a couple times as it's starting to foam up and brew inside of the ibrik here. And I can see it starting to foam up there, and hope you can see this on camera. So I usually stir that a couple times, and it's starting to foam up inside as it's heating and it's brewing. And this is forming that crema layer that will hopefully try to capture some of that on the top of the final product here once I pour it. So it's rising to the top. Now the foam rising And as it goes to the very top, you want to turn the flame off right when it gets to the top, so that you can see it foaming up. And we'll just go ahead and serve it. It's pretty easy at this point. You pour it into your demi-tasse cup at a slow rate, and you want to take your time so that you can preserve the crema layer of foam at the top, and that's where you're going to get a lot of your flavor, and it adds to the mouthfeel and the flavor of the coffee, and it's really quite delicious. So we get all that poured in there. Alright, and let's set that aside, and what we're left with is a delicious cup of Greek or Turkish style coffee. This one's very full, and you can see it has a delicious layer of crema at the top there. And I usually let this cool about 5 minutes or so out in room temperature, or 3 minutes in the freezer for a quick cool down so I could drink it. And it's really delicious. It's kind of a really original ancient form of coffee to drink it this way, and I think the taste, the quality, the flavor beats any drip coffee or coffee house type of coffee, or espresso even, because this is how it was done for probably hundreds of years before we invented espresso machines and coffee pots and those kind of things. So hey guys, just a couple things I want to mention. When you make the Turkish or Greek style coffee, the coffee grounds will be included with it and will basically settle to the bottom as it cools before you drink it, and you just basically want to stop about a ½ inch before the bottom to avoid consuming any of the grounds, and you'll be fine and ready to go. Also, traditionally serve Turkish or Greek style coffee with a glass of water, and the prepared coffee grounds for Turkish or Greek style coffee can be found. I like to make my own with the mortar and pestle, as shown in the other part of my video. However, you could buy this style coffee already ground up at a Mediterranean or Middle Eastern market usually, and so want to make sure I mention that. And also the little pots that we make the Turkish coffee in, which we call a sezbe or an ibrik. You can find these in a Middle Eastern or Mediterranean market, and I found mine for very inexpensive. They were under $10, I think, for both of them. So, and got this one here for 1 serving size, and this one for a double serving, and they kind of make a nice decoration in your kitchen too. So, anyways, that's it for my video. Thank you so much for watching.